Most business owners think spending money is the same as investing in growth. It is not. One of the biggest reasons businesses struggle financially is because they confuse expenses with investments. Every dollar leaving your bank account should have a purpose. If it does not help generate revenue, improve efficiency, reduce risk, or strengthen the customer experience, it deserves scrutiny. Imagine two business owners. The first spends $5,000 on new office furniture because the current setup looks outdated. The second spends $5,000 on a better sales system that helps close more customers. Both spent the same amount of money, but only one expense has a strong chance of producing a measurable return. Business spending is not about how much money you spend. It is about what you get back from that spending. Successful companies understand that every expense creates either value or waste. The problem is that waste often hides in plain sight. Subscriptions nobody uses, software features nobody needs, inventory sitting for months, unnecessary meetings, excessive travel, and inefficient processes slowly drain cash without attracting attention. Over time, these small leaks become major financial problems. Think of your business like a bucket of water. Most owners focus only on pouring more water into the bucket through sales. Smart owners also check for holes in the bucket. If cash is leaking faster than it should, growth becomes much harder. Understanding business spending means looking beyond the transaction itself and asking a simple question: what result will this expense create? That mindset changes everything. Instead of spending based on habit, pressure, or excitement, you begin spending based on outcomes. And once you start viewing every dollar as an employee whose job is to generate value for the company, your financial decisions become far more effective. Before you can control spending, you first need to understand what spending actually means. How Amazon thinks about cost control. When people hear the word cost cutting, they often imagine a company slashing budgets, laying off employees, and eliminating resources. But many successful companies think about cost control differently. Amazon provides a powerful example. Even though Amazon became one of the largest companies in the world, it maintained a culture that constantly questions spending. One of its famous leadership principles encourages teams to accomplish more with less. The goal is not simply spending less money, the goal is maximizing value from every dollar spent. Imagine two departments each requesting a $100,000 budget increase. Instead of automatically approving both requests, leaders ask tough questions. What problem are we solving? What measurable result do we expect? Is there a cheaper way to achieve the same outcome? This mindset forces people to think creatively rather than relying on larger budgets as the default solution. Amazon has often encouraged teams to operate efficiently before throwing additional resources at problems. That approach creates innovation because constraints force better thinking. Many small businesses can learn from this. When revenue grows, owners often become more relaxed about expenses. They upgrade offices, hire too quickly, add unnecessary software, and increase spending without evaluating returns. Eventually, growth slows while expenses remain high. Suddenly, profits disappear. Cost control is not about being cheap. It is about being intentional. Before approving any expense, ask whether it creates measurable business value. If the answer is unclear, investigate further. Sometimes the best financial decision is not finding a cheaper option. Sometimes it is discovering that the expense is unnecessary altogether. Companies that develop this discipline gain a major advantage because they preserve cash while competitors waste it. The lesson is simple. Don't ask whether you can afford something. Ask whether it deserves your money. That small shift in thinking can dramatically improve financial performance over time and create a stronger, more resilient business. Forecast expenses 12 months ahead. One reason businesses experience financial stress is because they are constantly reacting instead of planning. Expenses rarely appear out of nowhere. Rent, payroll, software subscriptions, insurance renewals, equipment maintenance, taxes, inventory purchases, and marketing campaigns are usually predictable. Yet many business owners fail to look beyond the next month. A simple 12-month expense forecast can completely change how you manage money. Imagine driving across the country at night with headlights that only show the next 10 feet of road. That is how many businesses operate financially. They only see immediate expenses. A 12-month forecast extends those headlights and reveals what is coming long before it becomes a problem. Start by listing every recurring expense. Then identify seasonal costs and planned investments. Maybe insurance renews in 6 months. Maybe equipment needs replacement next year. Maybe inventory purchases increase before a busy season. Once everything is visible, you can prepare rather than panic. For example, if you know a $20,000 equipment upgrade is coming in 8 months, you can gradually build cash reserves instead of scrambling for financing at the last minute. Forecasting also helps identify periods where cash flow may become tight. That allows you to adjust spending, increase sales efforts, or delay non-essential purchases before problems develop. Many businesses fail not because they lack profit, but because they run out of cash unexpectedly. Forecasting reduces surprises. It transforms financial management from a reactive activity into a proactive one. The goal is not creating perfect predictions. The goal is improving visibility. Even an imperfect forecast is far better than no forecast at all. Business owners who regularly look 12 months ahead make calmer decisions, avoid unnecessary financial pressure, and maintain greater control over their company's future. Planning ahead may not feel exciting, but it often separates stable businesses from struggling ones. Create department spending key performance indicators. Many companies track sales key performance indicators but completely ignore spending key performance indicators. That creates a dangerous imbalance. Revenue gets attention while expenses quietly grow in the background. Every department should have clear spending metrics that encourage accountability. Consider a marketing team. Instead of simply tracking how much money is spent, track cost per lead, cost per acquisition, and return on advertising spend. For customer service, track support cost per customer. For operations, track cost per unit produced. For administration, monitor overhead as a percentage of revenue. These metrics help connect spending to results. Imagine 2 departments with identical budgets. One generates measurable outcomes, while the other produces very little value. Without key performance indicators, both departments appear successful because they stayed within budget. With key performance indicators, the difference becomes obvious. Spending key performance indicators also help identify problems early. If marketing costs suddenly increase while lead quality declines, you can investigate immediately. If operational costs rise faster than revenue, adjustments can be made before profits suffer. Many business owners review expenses only after financial statements arrive. By then, the money is already gone. KPIs provide ongoing visibility and allow faster decision-making. They turn spending from something you simply monitor into something you actively manage. Another benefit is employee awareness. When teams understand the financial impact of their decisions, they often become more responsible with company resources. People tend to pay closer attention when performance is measured. The goal is not creating a culture of fear. The goal is creating a culture of accountability. Every dollar spent should support a measurable objective. Spending key performance indicators make that connection visible. Over time, they help reduce waste, improve efficiency, and ensure resources are directed toward activities that actually move the business forward. What gets measured improves, and business spending is no exception. Prioritize high-impact expenses. Not all expenses are created equal. Some costs directly contribute to growth, while others provide little long-term benefit. One of the most important financial skills a business owner can develop is distinguishing between high-impact and low-impact spending. Imagine your business has an extra $10,000 available this month. You could spend it on office upgrades, premium furniture, and decorative improvements. Or you could invest in employee training, customer acquisition, process automation, or product improvements. Which option is more likely to generate future returns? High-impact expenses usually improve revenue, efficiency, customer satisfaction, or competitive advantage. Low-impact expenses often provide temporary satisfaction without creating lasting value. The challenge is that low-impact spending often feels more rewarding in the moment. New equipment looks exciting. Fancy office space feels impressive. Expensive software creates the illusion of progress. But appearance and results are not always the same thing. Successful business owners regularly ask one question before spending money. Will this help the business become stronger, faster, more profitable, or more valuable? If the answer is uncertain, the expense may deserve reconsideration. Prioritization becomes especially important during periods of limited cash flow. Resources are never unlimited. Every dollar spent on one thing cannot be spent somewhere else. That opportunity cost matters. Smart businesses allocate resources toward activities with the highest expected return. They focus on investments that create momentum rather than distractions that create expenses. Over time, these decisions compound. Businesses that consistently prioritize high-impact spending often grow faster while maintaining healthier financial positions. Those that chase low-impact expenses frequently find themselves working harder for smaller results. Spending control is not simply about reducing costs. It is about directing resources toward the areas that matter most. The objective is not spending less money. The objective is getting more value from every dollar invested. Reduce office and workspace costs. Many businesses spend far more on office space than necessary. This expense often becomes invisible because it feels permanent. Rent gets paid every month, utilities arrive automatically, and nobody questions whether the space is actually being used efficiently. Yet workspace costs can represent a significant financial burden. Start by evaluating utilization. If half the office remains empty most of the week, you may be paying for space you do not truly need. Many businesses discovered during recent years that flexible work arrangements can reduce expenses without hurting productivity. Smaller offices, shared workspaces, hybrid schedules, and remote work options can significantly lower overhead costs. Utilities provide another opportunity. Simple improvements such as energy-efficient lighting, smart thermostats, equipment shutdown policies, and better maintenance practices can reduce monthly bills. Storage costs also deserve attention. Many companies pay for inventory, equipment, or supplies that sit unused for months. Every square foot occupied by unnecessary items costs money. Another overlooked area is office supplies. Small purchases seem harmless individually, but become surprisingly expensive when accumulated over an entire year. Establishing purchasing guidelines and monitoring usage can help reduce waste. The goal is not creating an uncomfortable work environment. Employees need appropriate resources to perform effectively. However, there is a difference between supporting productivity and funding inefficiency. Think about your workspace like a machine. Every component should contribute value. If certain costs no longer support business objectives, they deserve reevaluation. Many owners focus heavily on increasing sales while ignoring fixed expenses. Yet reducing unnecessary overhead often improves profitability immediately. Every dollar saved flows directly to the bottom line. Unlike sales growth, which requires attracting customers, cost reduction can produce instant financial benefits. Reviewing workspace expenses may not be glamorous, but it can create meaningful improvements in cash flow and long-term financial stability. Sometimes the easiest way to increase profit is not earning more money. It is spending less money on things that no longer serve the business. Avoid buying based on emotion and use the 24-hour purchase rule. Business owners are not immune to emotional spending. In fact, entrepreneurship often creates conditions that encourage it. After a good sales month, confidence rises and spending becomes easier. A competitor buys new equipment and suddenly you feel pressure to do the same. A salesperson creates urgency with a limited time offer. Before you know it, money leaves the bank account without careful evaluation. One simple technique can dramatically reduce unnecessary purchases. 24-hour purchase rule. The rule is straightforward. Any non-essential purchase above a predetermined amount requires a 24-hour waiting period before approval. During that time, emotions settle and logic has a chance to take over. Imagine seeing a software platform that promises to solve multiple business problems. The demo is impressive. The salesperson is persuasive. You feel excited. Instead of buying immediately, wait 24 hours. Then revisit the decision with fresh eyes. Ask whether the purchase solves a real problem, whether alternatives exist, and whether measurable returns justify the cost. Many purchases lose their appeal after emotions fade. This rule works because emotional decisions often happen quickly. Rational decisions usually require reflection. The waiting period creates space for better judgment. It also helps prevent impulse purchases driven by fear, excitement, ego, or social pressure. Over time, this discipline can save thousands of dollars. Successful businesses rarely fail because of one large mistake. More often, they suffer from hundreds of small, unnecessary decisions that gradually weaken financial performance. Emotional spending is one of those hidden threats. The solution is not eliminating emotion entirely. It is creating systems that prevent emotion from controlling financial decisions. 24-hour purchase rule is simple, practical, and surprisingly effective. Sometimes the smartest purchase decision is realizing you never needed to make the purchase at all. How poor time management costs money. Most people think time management is a productivity issue. In reality, it is also a financial issue. Poor time management can quietly cost a business thousands of dollars every year. Imagine a business owner who constantly delays important decisions. Invoices are sent late, customer follow-ups are forgotten, inventory orders happen at the last minute, projects miss deadlines. Each individual problem seems small, but together they create significant financial consequences. Time is one of the most valuable resources in any business. Unlike money, it cannot be replaced once it is gone. Every hour wasted represents lost opportunities, delayed revenue, reduced efficiency, or increased costs. Consider meetings. Many companies spend countless hours in unnecessary discussions that produce little value. Multiply those hours across multiple employees and the financial impact becomes enormous. Poor scheduling creates similar problems. When teams wait for approvals, information, or decisions, productivity slows down and labor costs increase. Procrastination can also become expensive. Delaying maintenance may lead to larger repair bills. Postponing hiring decisions may overload existing employees and reduce performance. Waiting too long to address customer complaints may result in lost business. Effective time management helps prevent these costs. Prioritizing important work, reducing distractions, delegating appropriately, and making timely decisions all contribute to stronger financial performance. One useful exercise is calculating the approximate value of your time. When business owners understand what an hour is worth, they often become more selective about how they spend it. The connection between time and money becomes impossible to ignore. Businesses that manage time effectively usually operate more efficiently, serve customers better, and generate stronger profits. In many cases, improving time management does not require additional investment. It simply requires better habits, and those habits can create significant financial returns over the long term. Understanding when not to cut costs. Cost control is important, but not every expense should be reduced. Some businesses become so focused on saving money that they accidentally damage growth, customer satisfaction, and long-term profitability. Knowing when not to cut costs is just as important as knowing when to cut them. Imagine a company reducing customer support staff to save money. Initially, expenses decline, but customer response times increase, satisfaction falls, and negative reviews begin appearing online. Eventually, revenue suffers. The short-term savings create long-term losses. The same thing can happen with employee training, product quality, cybersecurity, maintenance, and marketing. These areas often generate returns that are not immediately visible. Cutting them may improve financial statements temporarily while weakening the business underneath. Smart cost control focuses on eliminating waste, not eliminating value. Before reducing any expense, ask what consequences may follow. Will productivity decline? Will customers notice? Will revenue be affected? Sometimes maintaining or increasing spending is the better decision. Consider employee development. Training programs require money, but skilled employees often produce better results, solve problems faster, and contribute more effectively. Similarly, investing in quality products or services may reduce customer complaints and increase repeat business. The goal is balance. Businesses should avoid both extremes. Overspending creates financial strain, while excessive cost-cutting can undermine growth. The strongest companies allocate resources strategically. They remove low-value expenses and protect high-value investments. This approach improves efficiency without sacrificing performance. Remember, the objective is not building the cheapest business possible. The objective is building the most effective business possible. Some expenses deserve reduction. Others deserve protection. Understanding the difference can have a major impact on long-term success. Cost control should strengthen the business, not weaken it. If you found this video helpful, then like, share, and subscribe this channel to get future videos. Thank you for watching this video.